Hey everyone, welcome to Basic Binges, the book of Boba Fett. Oh my gosh, I just want to jump into it, but let's have everyone go around and introduce themselves, starting with Mike M.
Sure. I'm Mike Manalo. That's all my introduction. I want to jump into it. No, I'm kidding. I'm staff writer for the Nerds of Color, and I'm really excited to talk about this one. Let's dive in after the rest of the intros. Mike, Lee, how about yourself?
Hi. So I'm Mike Lee. I write for geeksoon.com, Nerds of Color, We Live Entertainment, and That's It LA. And I'm just excited as you guys to talk about Boba Fett. I gotta show my Boba Fett love. And let's just throw it off to Sabina, I guess.
Well, we also have a very special guest.
Oh,
our
yes.
awesome show producer, Stephanie.
Woo!
Tell the people what you do.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean she's everywhere too as well, in places that are amazing, and as amazing as the stuff we're doing, and this is really awesome that we have her on. I've been wanting to have her on the entire time, but she wears all the hats here, y'all, so this is like an awesome special appearance, and we are so happy to have you. And yes, like Mike said, I am Sabina. I am your host, and the person who is here on Nom Talk, as well as all the sites. I am literally just I'm forgetting where I'm from because my brain is in whatever planet Grogu was on right now. Because
that's a major trauma.
Yeah, it no longer exists because of Kylo Ren. But
right.
No, I'm joking. Yeah. Well, I'm not really joking. That is true, I guess. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, y'all. I honestly, I wrote down how the episode started, and my brain's just like Grogu. It's Grogu. It's he was there. He was who he had to pay a visit to. I know, like the last episode kind of left like a cliffhanger where we were like, oh, is he gonna like off camera go and see Grogu, and like we won't see it until the next season of Mandalorian, what actually transpires. But we actually we go there with him and follow him on his quest to deliver the cutest little package. And we were all right. It was chainmail. It was a little chainmail shirt. You guys, it was so cute.
They sell that at Disneyland, like to go with your little plushies, Beskar chainmail. Come on. I mean, I want a Mickey with a Beskar chainmail. Disney, get on it.
Yes. Baby Grogu Beskar chainmail. And I'm sure someone saw the little ringlets and has been making a chainmail for their Grogu toys.
That would be dedicated hard work.
That'd be awesome.
I was like, oh, Mike, I thought you were going to pull out the Beskar chainmail, Mike.
Oh,
I was like, holy crap, he did it.
I wish I can mold metal like that, solder and everything, but yeah, I'm not that talented yet.
You just don't have a spear yet. That's the only thing.
I need Beskar steel. Yeah.
But yeah.
Every gained some functionality in my brain, and I just remembered the show opens with Cad Bain dealing with the Pike Syndicate. That's not funny because it was a really stressful first scene, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what happened before the Grogu show took over. Yeah, so that was a really interesting way to open up the episode. We knew, and I think last week I was like, I really hope we get Timothy Oliphant back, y'all. And he shows up, and now I'm like, I really hope you don't kill Timothy Oliphant.
I know. Like at the end of the episode, I was just like, no, you cannot do it. We will get so pissed if that happens, but I don't think it did. I don't think
that was like an obscure shot to the upper chest area.
I was gonna say it's like the shoulder or something.
Shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put a lot.
Not like the deputy.
Exactly. They deputy meter maid. But yeah, Star Wars is so good at putting emphasis on a character when it's dying, that that they're dead. The fact that they just didn't really focus on Timothy Oliphant after the crowd just kind of goes around him. He didn't like take a last breath or anything like that. He's got to be alive. There's
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, not to jump too far ahead, but yeah, no, like, so when they opened on him, I was like, oh man, this is like when you get like that last sort of like very like reluctant to like join in on the Pike Syndicate, and it disrespects them by literally kicking the spice out of the box and was like, I don't give a F about this. So, you kind of have like that establishment of like, oh, he pissed them off and something's going to go down. What did y'all think was going to happen? Did you guys have any inclination toward some of those twists that happen later on?
Mike Lee, you want to go first?
I really liked, more on the Cobb Vanth character. I really liked the whole, he was, Timmy Oliphant was just basically channeling his like inner Raylan Givens again, basically. This is like, I am the law, all sort of thing. And this is the code that I live by. And it was interesting to see how much of a lawman he continues to be, because like the townspeople were saying, he's not for sale, he's like the really good guy, and he's very protective of his people too. You can see that it's like, I'm not going to throw these people into a battle that they're, that doesn't involve them. This is a city fight. They use all these old spaghetti Western like language and wording. So it was interesting to see how he was just basically the good guy, even though his city was just not as financially stable or like flourishing as the other places that's surrounding it. But for him to just die by the code is just shows how much of a awesome character he is.
I agree. Stephanie, what did you think?
Oh gosh. Honestly, I'm so mad he's gone. I'm legit just so mad. I was like, we got him back, and I looked at Alex like, for how long?
Yeah,
I was so nervous because it's just like
they announced him as like he's gonna be on the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, and I'm like, are you killing him off on Mando so he'll be on Game Changers?
These
That'd be terrible.
bungholes. Yeah, but I think the direction that he went about it, of just being like, I think he wanted to help the Mandalorian, but at the same time, he's done his fights, he's taking care of like the town or whatever, and he just wants to chill. He just wants to chill with his homies kind of situation. And like, we obviously knew what some of the villagers thought. Like, some of the people there, they were just like, it's not our fight though. So why will we fight if it has nothing to do with us, even if it's later on in the future? So it's I'm so like frazzled. I'm sorry. I'm more of an emotional person than a verbal person. But I'm very frazzled. I don't know.
I mean, like, just from the start, this episode was just so emotional in just how it evoked a lot of just the Star Wars feelings that we love. It honestly felt like watching the movies because of just how it like sideswiped into other scenes with other characters, and it was like, oh, we are connecting this large world together now. And it felt definitely like a part 1 of 2, I would say. And obviously we have like the chapter closing next week, because the past few episodes have really followed like their own conventions of following Boba Fett and following Mandalorian in this standalone episode, and then kind of like having us jump into this sort of being a combination of both the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian / the Baby Grogu show. Because I was like, when we went to that planet, which may or may not be Yavin 4, I don't know if it's been confirmed if that's where they're building the temple.
It seems like it.
But when we went there, I was like, is this just gonna be the Baby Grogu show for this entire episode? Because I'm not complaining.
Yeah. I thought the same thing too, Sabina. Like when they were showing an extended amount of time of him training, and I thought, I didn't realize the way that they framed it. I wasn't sure if it was multiple days that they were covering, or months or weeks or whatever, because he goes from hopping 1 inch off the ground to doing backflips.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a single day or two. It's not really that long. And I thought that they were doing all of this when I thought that the passage of time was longer. When I thought that they were doing all this, I was like, are they doing this because this is the last we're ever going to see of Grogu? Like, is this us watching him grow up and then them like say goodbye to him now? And thankfully it doesn't seem to be the case. But I that was really cool to see.
I muted myself. How dare you? How dare you throw that into the universe? You throw the baby into the universe like that.
I know. Oh my gosh. I mean, and then even just going back to the whole training thing, what also kind of throws off if it's like a longer passage of time or not is, when Luke says, I'm not doing so much training as I am, helping him remember, especially when we had that very traumatic flashback to, the order being given out. And his point of view of it, y'all. Like I was crying. I mean, I was crying as soon as Grogu showed up, but but I was like crying when we saw his memory.
Yeah, seeing it in the eyes.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So seeing it, the reflection, or seeing it in his eyes, basically, was even more horrific for me because, like, oh my gosh, you can see the flashes, the lightsaber. Deflecting all the laser blasts. So it's like, oh my gosh, do we have to relive through this again?
I know.
And you get the impression that they effectively take him,
It's kind of funny how often Dave Filoni likes revisiting the deaths of all these Jedis. Like,
I know.
We see it in every project that Dave touches. And it's definitely one of those traumatic, huge events that just resonates across the world and affects this entire universe, like akin to, let's say, the Thanos snap from the MCU or something like that. Nothing's the same after Order 66. But yeah, we keep seeing bad shit happening to Jedis, and it's just it's the most traumatic thing in the world. But I was on the edge of my seat, just waiting to see if they were going to show who saved him. And then they cut out right after, and I was like, damn it! No, we had to see, riddles for another day, I suppose. Answers for another day. We'll see.
Michael Lee, what was your reaction to that?
Well, there was also another part, since you were talking about the training situation. They were talking about, you lived a short lifetime. I'm just like paraphrasing, but you lived a short lifetime, and then my training, takes a longer time, sort of thing. So it's like, oh my gosh, how long have they had Grogu now? And then for his training to be cut off so short, I guess, because of Order 66. I was just, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he survived one temple, like, massacre, and the whole time I'm just yelling at Luke, like, you give him back right now. I don't want him anywhere near your nephew whenever he shows up. Like, sir, like, Luke Skywalker, I love you, sir, but just give him back. Like,
don't touch
get
the
him
baby.
Get him away from that situation.
100%. At this point, we love the character so much that we're just so overprotective of him, and the fact that we know narratively what comes next, and also that it's sort of Luke's doing. All of that mess is kind of Luke's doing, or undoing, I should say. We're just like, kid, take the Beskar, never come back to this planet. Never come back. I know the sword is shiny. Just take the Beskar and leave while you can.
Yeah.
And
also, he must have a lot of trauma related to lightsabers. I don't think he would want to, like, pick it up, because, like, I think, like, there's a reason why they showed us that flashback and what he has seen lightsabers do. I mean, they were protecting him, but also just, like, he might not want to be a part of that, you know. It's so confusing because he doesn't talk yet, and I'm like, will he talk, will he not talk, will he just be like a mute, adorable mute forever?
Booing.
Like they did focus a really good, like they really focused on a lightsaber spinning during that flashback. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, I get what you're saying, because like I would think that he would be traumatized if they put that emphasis on the lightsaber and he sees the damage that comes with either owning a lightsaber or using a lightsaber. And then, you know, I guess it's different when you get offered your own lightsaber. You're just kind of like, cool. So I don't know, but still.
Yes. I mean, like, not to dwell on like the really sad parts of it, but also it was just a joy to see Grogu in training and like just being so powerful, and also to see him like, you know, want to eat some frogs. Some space frogs. Like, listen, I also am food motivated, and I feel like Luke tapped into that. Y'all, like, did y'all relate to that scene?
Yes.
I mean, there were some tender moments between Luke and Grogu, despite, you know, Luke being so goddamn pushy to poor Grogu. He's just like a kid, and like, oh my god. Because like what Mike was referring to earlier, we're so protective of him, and for him to say, no, you can jump higher than that. It's like, damn, he's just a kid. I can't, you can't do that to him. But also, you get to see him as they were walking through the bamboo forest. You know, like parents, when they take their kid and they kind of swing it. You know, I don't know if as they're walking, you know, that kind of connection. It shows a softer side to Luke, but at the same time, when we were talking about the Beskar and the lightsaber, he can be a dick. as succinctly as I put it, because he's giving that kind of a choice to a child who doesn't, or at least from my perspective, doesn't really know how to make such a, you know, deep, a huge choice, life-changing choice.
Yeah, and I'm like, why can't you just have both?
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
just kind of, like,
And
you could use the
Does he really
Beskar and
understand the
lightsaber.
concept?
Yeah. And I gotta be honest here, and if I'm ruining the trajectory of the conversation, I apologize, but Luke's kind of being he's living up to the Jedi legacy of being super hypocritical. Because if we flash back to Empire, when Yoda's like, you have to complete your training, don't go save Han and Leia, and he's like, but they're my friends, I love them so much. I'm kind of like, what the hell, Luke? What the hell? Come
Luke
on.
is being kind of a bitch right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
It does not make the best choices, you know.
No.
I think it's really funny because I get the sneaking suspicion that in the polarizing Star Wars movie is sort of just being reiterated, you know, with like how Luke handles things. And like, you know, he's definitely such a complex character when it comes to really figuring out where he wants to take his new students and how that's gonna play out. But at the same time, it's like, why is he sticking to these binaries that he was once going up against? And, you know, and I think the show's done a good job of presenting us of like with these sort of traditional like factions that are like, no, it has to be this way. But I'm like, but why? But why though? Like, why can't we just try a little bit of both, a little bit different things here, you know? And that's what I love about Boba Fett, that he is literally throwing convention out the window and being like, you know, we can make our own tribe, we can make our own way. So I hope that it like has a really good payoff for us.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, because if there's one thing that we can walk away from, or at least that Fabs and Filoni kind of want us to walk away from between The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, it's just these overzealous cultish like ideals that people are overly reliant on, seem to be things that are going to that are no good for anyone. When we think about Mandalore and how Mandalore has turned its back on the Mandalorian, how cultish and kind of creepy when you remember how Death Watch operated, how terrible that was. And then you also on the counter side know what's going to happen to Luke and the Jedi Temple and how dogmatic he's being about literally the Jedi teachings. These don't lead down, they don't lead to good roads, you know, they lead to bad futures, both of them, you know, and whereas things like the Mandalorian actually learning to go from, you know, less slavish to this, you know, these cultish ideals, and trying to embrace tenderness a little bit more and kindness a little bit more, and Boba Fett trying to embrace that as well a little bit more.
Like he goes from being like a hitman to like, no, I would like to be a leader and be a part of a community.
Yeah, it's yielding more positive results for both of them, you know? Like, you think about how Mando is trying to convince Cobb Vanth to join the fight. He doesn't get through to him by saying, oh, you're afraid of bullets. Oh, you know, this is going to affect your plan. He gets through to him by saying, I want to ask you for a favor because we're friends.
We kind of lost you there, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We had a slight technical difficulty.
Sorry about that.
All good.
That. Yeah, no, yeah. I was just saying it yields more positive results than being slavish to a ridiculous dogma. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody please go ahead.
I mean, okay, so when we're talking about like Boba Fett, you know, because it's the book of Boba Fett and whatever. When like, okay, how do I? My brain is just not working today. When the Mandalorian goes to Cobb Vanth and asks for help, and then I might just be jumping it way too ahead, and I apologize if I'm changing the path. And then at the end, you know, when Mando leaves, the Cad Bain dude shows up and is like, I will pay you more if you just chill the fuck out and like just stay where you are, don't intervene kind of situation. And when we were talking about it before the show, I started Googling it and I went onto Wikipedia to be like, who the heck is this Cad Bain dude? Because what I just watched was traumatizing. And it's like based off of Wikipedia, no actual further research on my end, just being a procrastinating child. It looked like the Cad Bain guy was a like apprentice to Jango Fett, and either kind of was on the same level or he trained Boba Fett.
Yeah, well, Katrina on some of our of the shows was like, oh, it'd be really cool if Cad Bain showed up because like he mentored Boba Fett, but like she was given the vibe of like they'll team up or something, right? Like at least I kind of thought that's what the vibe was.
No, it's not the vibe.
That's not the vibe.
And I'm just, I if I had Katrina's number, I would be harassing her like, Katrina, you were just talking about this. It's happening. It's happening. And now I'm just speculating on like, what is this last episode gonna be? Because it could be many, many things, or they'll just keep building up and they'll try to like bring more older characters in and connect some dots, but I think there has to be a showdown between Boba Fett and Cad Bain. Nobody else. Maybe Grogu, but
it's interesting enough because he's also had connections with Finnick. Did anyone get a chance to watch Bad Batch actually?
Yes.
Yeah. There's Mike. You remember the episode?
Yeah, there's that one episode where
fill us in.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Okay, so from what I remember is they were, I think Finnick had Omega, and then Cad Bain had his own agenda, I guess, and he was sent, or someone else had their own agenda, and then they hired him to, you know, retrieve Omega. So it was like basically a cat and mouse, you know, hot potato sort of thing. They were catching it back and forth.
Yep.
And then that's basically from what I remember. I just saw it and I haven't revisited that episode, but I think I can defer to Mike, who may know more a little bit about it.
Well, I wouldn't say that I know more or anything like that, but I that episode did stick out for me a little bit because you know, it was pretty much the first time that we saw Finnick outside of anything that was the Mandalorian. So to me that mattered a lot because I love Finnick Shand. But then when they surprised me by throwing in Cad Bain in there, I was like, oh, we got a showdown because, you know, you got one badass bounty hunter on one side and another badass bounty hunter on another, and neither of them misses. And essentially, the character that they created for the Bad Batch, her name is Omega. She is, you know, spoiler alert. Is anyone going to watch this? I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But spoiler alert, Omega has ties to the clones, and by proxy, by, you know, obviously Jango Fett and Boba Fett, right? Basically she escapes the Geonosian planet where the clones are created. It ends up getting shut down by Palpatine because of Order 66 has been carried out, right? And basically, you know, he's using, of course, the clones and everything like that to do his bidding around the galaxy as stormtroopers. But Omega's kind of an anomaly of all the clones. She's sort of altered and kind of unique. So they want her taken out, and she runs away with the Bad Batch. And eventually, I think Finnick is getting paid to protect Omega. I forgot who's paying her, but she's being paid to protect Omega, or at least keep her away from. Oh wait, yes, now I do remember. The Geonosians that want her to kill Omega hire Cad Bain to go and get her, and there's one Geonosian that hires Finnick to protect her. So Finnick and Cad Bain go at it, and at the end, Finnick kind of wins, but more than anything, no one really wins because the Bad Batch come in and save Omega. But there's a showdown basically between Cad Bain and Finnick. So getting to see all of these guys interacting with each other based off of their various histories will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing who else the Pikes have hired, because you know, Boba has Mando, Finnick, Chrysanthemum, and the Biker Gang, and all the Pikes have is Cad Bain, and Cad Bain is capable, but I don't know if he can handle everyone all at once. So that's going to be fun to see who else the Pikes have hired. Because
I think we're going to get
they're rolling in deep. That's what we know that much.
I was going to say, whatever showdown happens, it's going to be epic.
Yeah. But it re-emphasizes your point, Stephanie, that it could go any direction, every direction, because everyone's got beef against Cad Bain. You know, we've got.
Missed all the beef. I'm so
Where's
sorry.
the beef?
Where is the beef? I feel like
beef?
someone's about to fill me in on what's happening, and then like it cut off completely, and it turns out my earphones.
Long story short, Sabina.
I'm just gonna stay very still. Stephanie, your camera is blurry on my end. I don't know if that's normal.
Oh, you know, it's always blurry. It's just like, we're tired of your energy. We're gonna fog it up for you.
Life in the Zoom and Twitch generation, folks.
Oh yes, but yeah, no, I'm assuming y'all. We talked a little bit before the show about Cad Bain, so I'm thinking that's what we discussed.
Long story short, Finnick has beef with Cad. Cobb has beef with Cad. I think the people of Freetown have beef with Cad.
Oh yeah, he killed their mouthy deputy.
Exactly, deputy meter maid. And I'm going to refer to him as Deputy Meter Maid forever.
R.I.P.
Oh, no.
Yeah, R.I.P. Meter Maid.
Did he get a name before he died? Because he legitimately is R.I.P. Meter Maid deputy.
Park that somewhere else.
I want Cobb to give a eulogy where he just says, "We didn't know his name, but he was really good at parking enforcement."
He was just hired. I just hired him.
But now we must avenge.
Wait, wasn't he the sheriff? And Cobb Vanth was the marshal?
I think, is that how the hierarchy works? Probably. Unless he wasn't good enough to be a sheriff and he's just a deputy. I mean, like...
Oh my gosh, like the bunny from Zootopia. Here's your potential. You're a parking meter.
Oh my god, Judy Hopps. Oh, No, my bag fell. Awesome. Yes.
Yeah, everyone's got beef with Cad Bain. So,
Yeah.
as Stephanie pointed out, this could go in every single direction possible. There's going to be a showdown with Cad Bain, but who's going to show down with him is a mystery. Probably Boba, but still. Yeah, we don't know. Everyone hates him.
Yeah, and also
Except
just
the
like the character design on Cad is terrifying. Like, it's one thing to see them in like CG animated form, but when you see them in like that alien head shape, just like in general, really freaks me out. Like the big eyes and like just long face, and I'm just like, nope.
Bangs and everything.
Mhm.
No
Creepy.
pupils whatsoever. It's just those deep red eyes. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's one thing, you know, I mean, even for people who didn't know who Cad Bain was, to see Cobb Vanth kind of like really scared and really kind of cautious.
Oh
which is
yeah, he
something that
was
we've
like,
never seen
nobody make a sudden move.
And we never saw that. That's got to be fear-inducing
Yeah.
to people. So, you know, we saw this guy.
Jurassic Park. Nobody move. He won't see you if you don't move. I'm so sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No. It's hilarious.
No,
'cause,
that was
like,
good. That was a nice.
the same rules for T-Rexes apply to Cad Bain. If you don't move, he can't shoot you.
It's got teeth, man. Yeah.
Oh my god.
The only reason why Deputy Meter Maid got shot, he moved his hand to his gun, and he saw that. So yeah, it was his own undoing. Yeah, no, but yeah, I think you know, Cat. I forgot what I was gonna say. I just want to see Jurassic Park now. And Cad Bain and Jurassic Park. That'd be amazing. Yeah, terrifying character.
So sorry.
Is all.
Yo, yes.
But yeah.
I mean, like this cop, Cad Bain, the bad guy with the red eyes. He, like, according to Wikipedia, like he like bossed down on Obi-Wan Kenobi and a bunch of Jedis, and he's been hired by like every single bad guy we can imagine to like do dirty work, and I'm just, oof. He's known as the galaxy's most dangerous bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that title doesn't belong to Boba Fett, so you know.
Apparently. Oh, no.
He's the galaxy's friendliest bounty hunter, so there you go. But yeah.
He's the Barney.
Barney Fett. He's gonna paint his helmet purple. Sorry. I think we're just obsessed with dinosaurs. That's what it is. Whether
Yeah,
it's Barney or
yeah.
Jurassic Park.
I'm obsessed with dinosaurs very much, yes.
Yes. Also, Rancor. That's gonna happen next episode.
Has to happen.
Right off into the sunset with her on top of a Rancor. Come on,
Yeah.
that's got to be a thing.
That's gotta happen. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
But we need to see Cobb again.
Yeah,
yeah.
he needs to live. I think we have addressed the meaty parts of this episode, so now we can go back to fawning over Grogu.
do it.
That is why I didn't interrupt us going to like the very end of the episode. I was like, you know what? Let's get that out of the way because we need to unpack our like feelings toward Grogu and just what he's been up to, what his health has been like, what his diet has been like. Like we just need to talk about this, and also how we felt about Mando being turned away, technically, sort of.
So rude. Damn, Osaka.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And R2, he was like, okay, I'm gonna lead you to this bench. I'm gonna go take a nap now. Bye.
Literally, that's what R2 did. Oh,
These little
man.
spider bots.
He's like, here, watch them do this.
Jeez, they look mighty familiar, by the way. I've been seeing these robots come up into existence that look like dogs, and they do things, and I'm like, Star Wars. Star Wars did it first.
So
No,
true.
Yo, I'm just gonna say that when Luke Skywalker, this, as Mike has already mentioned, this hypocrite. He's like, why can't I just go save my friends? But I need to train. I don't know what to do. And it's like, you're doing the same thing to Grogu, the poor baby. Like, I saw the chainmail, and then as soon he's like, well, you can have that, and he pulls out the lightsaber. I was just like, you petty motherfucker. What the hell? Sorry, I swear a lot. And I just got so mad. I was like, hell no. Luke Skywalker.
No, I was cursing the whole time too.
And then he's gotta say it's Yoda's lightsaber. It's like, what? You gotta add that?
Yeah.
Come
No
on.
pressure. Oh, it does belong to my master. No freaking pressure. And this is what gets me. I know this is like way before the latest Star Wars movies, the last 7, 8, 9. But how is it that you can wield a lightsaber? This is my actual question. How can you wield a lightsaber if you have no training as a Jedi? Is it literally just a weapon, and then like you have to learn the weapon, and then you fall into like a cult, and now you have to follow like their morals and their principles and stuff?
That's exactly what it is.
Red flag. Red flag. How dare you, Luke?
Han, for example, was able to use lightsaber to cut open a tauntaun. So anyone, even if they're not force sensitive, could technically use it like a tool. But you're gonna suck at it is the thing, versus if you've got the force and everything and you know how to use it. But yeah, they basically give you a lightsaber and a brochure, and then you convert, and then you say goodbye to your friends and family. And that's pretty much it. That's the life of a Jedi. And you make no money.
Skywalker goes rogue and kills everyone a part of this cult. Yep. I mean, like Grogu witnessed Anakin's like betrayal. Now he's being trained by Anakin's son, who's not doing the best job. I mean, he's doing his best, but
not his yeah.
And then he is in the line of danger to like be massacred by the grandson of the first massacre he survived. That's all. I was cursing the whole time too, Stephanie. I was just like, I'm sorry, you're awesome, you're like Luke Skywalker, like, yes, cool, but get the F away from baby Grogu. Like, just, this is not gonna work out. Just,
Why can't the baby just be an epic baby? Why can't you just
he's
let
an
him
epic
be an
baby.
epic
Why can't
baby?
he eat his frog? I was like, you lifted a bunch of frogs. You should, like, why can't he just have one?
Let him exactly. It's nature. Nature gives. Nature offers. You take sometimes, and then it's like a give and take. You get the frog, and then you give the force.
Yeah. And, I mean, did the Jedi ever think once that maybe this repression from everyone that you love is the reason that they keep failing?
I'm not going to repress my hunger. If I'm hungry, I will eat the frog.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy.
They tell you to search your feelings, but then they don't want you to use your feelings, so I don't really get that, I mean, like...
Also, who can focus on an empty stomach?
Yeah.
I can't focus on an empty
Exactly.
Neither can our internet. My internet can't handle this right now.
It's hungry.
It's hungry. Feed me.
No, to play devil's advocate on Luke's behalf, I'm the first person to call out the hypocrisy and the self-righteousness of the Jedi. By the way, as a kid, growing up, I never wanted to be a Jedi. I wanted to be Han. That's the guy that I admired the most in Star Wars. The Jedi were too, like, goody-goody. And the Jedi were, as I got older, I started to realize, they're very self-righteous, and I kind of hate that, So when we get to Luke in Last Jedi, and he's just like, yeah, they caused their own downfall. They're really self-righteous. I was like, exactly, Luke. You get it now. It just took the death of every Jedi that you ever recruited to do this, but you get it. But that being said, at this point in his career, he hasn't witnessed any other Jedi other than Yoda and other than Obi-Wan. He doesn't know really that legacy. He never lived through it. If, Ahsoka did, and Ahsoka kind of understands the wrongdoings of the Jedi, the hypocrisy, the self-righteousness. That's why they casted her out. And that's why, that never sat right with her. So she's not really like a real Jedi. Or she quit, I guess, not casted her out, but she quit. Mm-hmm. Sorry. But she quit after being put on trial, after being falsely accused and having all of the Jedi Council basically doubt her. So she knows and has seen that like BS, but Luke hasn't. So I feel like Luke starting this training academy is him approaching everything with fresh eyes and thinking that these teachings are okay, and are good because he doesn't know jack about the Jedi Order.
Oh my gosh. So why do you think Ahsoka isn't a little bit more protective or more forward with Luke about, what's happened in the past, do you think?
That's a really good question.
Because she said, I'm a friend of the family. It's like, okay, yeah, that's nice. And then what you just brought up just made me think about, wait, why isn't she being
taught the lesson?
More transparent with the whole history of the teaching?
My theory is she doesn't know Luke as well as she knows Anakin, obviously, right? But I think she sees more good in Luke, which is true, than she ever saw in Anakin. So maybe she thinks that he could do it right. But I don't know. That's again playing devil's advocate for both of them.
Yeah.
Also, I've done some digging because I do that. I think I've found out who this mystery child is that works with Cop Van. I think his name is Deputy Scott. People in the chat, tell me if I'm wrong. I would love to know if I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong.
I prefer Deputy Meter Maid. Deputy Scott is such a lame.
I was gonna say such a generic name. It's like, what's the lamest name we could give? Scott. Okay. Scott.
I mean, how did that?
Not like Luke Skywalker or anything like that. It's gotta be Deputy Meter Maid.
Exactly. How did that job interview go? Hi, I'm Cobb Van, fastest gun in the West. What's your name? I'm Scott.
I'm gonna change your name
to Deputy Meter Maid.
I like Deputy Meter Maid a lot more. And know that character is not going to last when they don't give them a real Star Wars name. Rude. What? Did some human from ER decide to survive everything? No.
Oh, man. I mean, the tombstone's going to read, "Here lies Scott." And that's it.
Doesn't even get a last
for
name.
A day.
Scott.
So his name's not Den,
Oh, poor Scott. Yeah.
Who has really cool names lived, therefore Cobb will live, hopefully.
Exactly. Cad Bain lived, Cobb Vanth will live too, Din Djarin, Boba Fett, everyone's got, yeah. But if your name is Scott, then you're screwed. Stop.
He lived as he died.
Oh my gosh. I can't stop thinking about Grogu. Am I frozen? Oh no.
No, you're good.
No,
you're good.
You're good.
Okay. Yes.
No, you're good.
But more about Grogu. Yes. Okay. We had to talk about Din. We've talked about Grogu's feelings and us caping for his feelings, but also like Din, like and him showing up and being told that he has to go. And I was just like, under that helmet he is crying. Who would not be crying?
Yeah.
Like having
you could feel it.
Yes. I could literally feel the tears streaming down my own face.
And credit where credit's due. Pedro's voice acting, those pauses in between, him saying, I came all this way, I have this for him, all of that stuff. You could sense a character that's not good at expressing his emotions. Oddly enough, he should probably be a freaking Jedi. And then and hurting when he realizes that he's trying to do right by this kid, So credit work, that's just phenomenal vocal work in my opinion. And yeah, he's so crying under that helmet.
Oh, for sure. And for him to go from ruthless and a stone cold killer in the last episode to just this immense vulnerability is such a testament to his acting.
You're truly.
Yeah.
I've just been going back to the picture. I'm like, somebody say Grogu one more time, and then I look at your little face. You have a cute little face, and it's like, why would you want that? Any pain inflicted on this little baby?
To Grogu, humans are like his pets. We have pets who last a short amount of time in our lifetime, and then they're gone. But humans, he lives for a long time. He will outlive everyone.
We've had at least 2 Jedi of his species, We've never had a bounty hunter of his species, so why not?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
This whole Jedi thing's not working out for me. I'm just going to go follow my dad.
He has the pod. Everyone who sees the pod is like, oh, that's for your kid. Where is he? And you're just like, what
Yeah, when
What if, because Mando had the black blade, and
Mm-hmm.
like, what if he became the Jedi? Since, his entire clan just disowned him and said, whatever, loser, you showed your face to people, you're done. Like, Jedi? And then the little brother becomes a little bounty hunter baby.
Switch places. That would be an interesting development, actually, if they ever go. Yeah. If they ever go down that route, just because like Mando can check his feelings. I mean, obviously his attachment to Grogu itself, is the only time that we've really seen him use feelings, or not use feelings, but express feelings. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, like, if Mando is the prophesized one, let's say the one that fights off 50 people and becomes, Mandalore's leader, and he pretty much succeeds Tar Vizsla. Tar Vizsla was the first Mandalorian Jedi. Might be about time that we get a second one. So that's really interesting. I never thought about that stuff. Yeah.
I for sure kind of feel like Grogu is going to be the Mandalorian Jedi.
That would be cool.
As well. Yes.
I mean,
who just happens to be very, very, very far away from all the events of the most recent trilogy. He, like, after training with Luke, is like, I want nothing to do with any Skywalker. Like, no. Yeah.
That's kind of what audiences are saying. No, I'm kidding. But
or if it's something similar to like the Eternals, where it's like, we'll help, but most of this is your doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna step in unless like really, really, really necessary. Oh, it's a Ben Skywalker. Like, he's related to them. Nope. I'm good.
I am curious. What does everyone think that he's gonna choose? The saber or the chainmail?
I think the chainmail. If we're following the narrative, because we don't see him at all. There's no mention of, obviously, because this was shot before Mandalorian actually started, but it seems to make sense that he chooses the chainmail, at least in my opinion.
I think so too. I don't know. Anyone else? Does anyone think he's going to take the lightsaber?
I think he's gonna choose the chainmail and then force pull the lightsaber and be like, bye.
Yoink!
You out.
I just need to brush up on my Jedi skills, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
And after that, Luke's going to be like, crap, next time I'm not going to give him a choice. And then you cut to Kylo Ren, and then, like, everything on fire. So.
That's why there's so much destruction. No, but I mean, you guys, y'all brought up a really good, like, you brought up really good points earlier about how you saw him witness what could happen to somebody with a lightsaber and what the lightsaber could do to someone. So I think knowing that is more like, in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, you gotta pick one of the three. Like, the chainmail is like Goofy's shield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe he just wants to be safe, and he's like, look, I've seen what this kind of material can do. I'm gonna take this.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like, all that trauma is instrumental in making him in helping him make his decision, essentially. So I think that's very possible. And at that point, Luke's going to be like, fine, then my first student is not going to be you, it's going to be my nephew, and he's going to be a really, really good
his sister, who he then benches later on.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
My sister will be my first recruit because I can't recruit anyone else.
Nepotism at its best.
And my second recruit will be my nephew. Nepotism.
Oh, where's the lie? There's no lie. And I mean, I don't, there's, that's what it is, whatever anyone else gets mad about is their thing, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's funny because I still consider, obviously, and we all do consider Luke like an iconic hero, and he did the thing. He blew up the Death Star, turned his father, and I don't think that necessarily discredits who he later on becomes. And I still fully feel The Last Jedi is canon, and it shows that even our heroes are more complex, and people are meant to do different things. I don't think in any way these shows are necessarily trying to like take away from their legacies, but kind of just showing that everyone has complex legacies. I do sort of wish that he was played by like an actor, because it gets a little distracting.
Yes.
Like really it looks amazing.
It's so
Yeah.
But it's not like, had they cast Sebastian Stan as Luke, you would get, I think, more of like an inner look at someone going through, trying to figure out who they are as a teacher, if that's what they want to be,
Sebastian Stan
They
is
could.
stretched really thin right now.
I have seen Sebastian Stan do some things I have never thought I'd ever seen him do. And that's all I will say about that.
I have yet to see that show we're talking about. Yeah.
I was like, what clubs have you been seeing him at?
No, I'm watching Pam and Tommy, where he plays Tommy Lee, and
I need to watch.
I need to watch that too.
Yeah.
that is there's some stuff that happens in that show that I'm just like, is this really happening right now?
Is this real life?
he has the most interesting conversation with something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very
Anyways, he I think would have been a really great Luke Skywalker, and it's like when you have actors who can fill in these roles and kind of still like give us a complex take on them. It's kind of like soft recasting and stuff. I think it could have worked, because that's what for me is missing from these Luke Skywalker scenes. And I know Mike, like, definitely jump in with like how you feel about that, because we are discussing all these different like things that we're feeling about Luke as a character, and what he means to us as we see his entire journey, or like this middle part of the journey kind of be filled in. And whether or not it takes away from him or enriches like how we see people. But it's hard because he's not an actual person.
Yeah. I think the whole de-aging thing was a little bit distracting, because it looked so plastic, and it just took away from some of the emotion. We didn't see him, smile. It was always just stone face, and I get that probably the teaching method, don't show any emotions or reactions, but it would have been better if they did the whole Solo thing, where they just soft recasting these characters, and it would have added depth. It would have refreshened the whole series as a whole. And I understand that there's a significance, because Mark Hamill's Mark Hamill. He's been with all these he's been a part of it since since the very beginning, sort of thing.
And honestly, his voice acting carries it, because he's an incredible voice actor. So I mean, like,
oh yeah,
I'm trying to like shift focus, or like how we can read Mandalorian even though he has a helmet on, but with the Luke thing. But I'm still just getting used to like my brain being an uncanny valley about it,
But also, like, if he's already been kicked out for showing his face, why wouldn't he just take a breather every once in a while?
What's gonna happen? What can they do to him? I mean,
yeah.
Right? They already exiled me, bro. I don't care.
He's like, I've got from now until I get rebaptized in those springs to take off my helmet at my will. So that gives me at least a year to keep my helmet off. I will be. Forgive me, I'm going to be the hot take here that is okay not having Sebastian Stan. Not that I don't love Sebastian Stan, and not that I disagree with any of your points, because I agree 110% with everything that you guys said. Having a real actor there does allow emotion and thought a little bit better than a deep fake would, or the uncanny valley effect kind of tends to allow. But I'm so attached to Mark Hamill. I can't see anyone else as my Luke. And I've thrown a lot of shade at Skywalker today. I know that I have, but deep down, I love Luke. He is a tried and true hero. And
they should try just a bunch of different things on him. Like, I don't know if y'all watch The Righteous Gemstones, but they like 3D printed some sort of mask on John Goodman to de-age him.
Oh yeah,
really?
And it looks really
and
good.
He's a spinner too.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And you know, when they do Michael Douglas or anyone else in the MCU, it's them with dots on their faces, right? Or is it usually a backup actor that they? I think they de-age the actors, right? Like Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel or something.
I think some of them they've de-aged them.
Yeah.
So I don't see why you can't do the same thing. Have Mark on set and then just his face.
And do we think it was Mark on set, or do we think it was that stand-in again?
I think
it was stand-in.
I think so too. I think it was the guy that was in the ship in the previous episode. The guy that was next to, because that was his stand-in, right? The guy that was next to. I keep wanting to call him Appa because I don't know.
Me too.
Yeah, because there's two cops. One of them was Appa, and then the other one was the stand-in for Mark from the season finale. I think it's him again. Yeah. Which doesn't make sense, because if you got Mark Hamill, just use Mark Hamill fully, you know, de-age him like Michael Douglas. So.
Yeah.
If you could do it in Tron, you could do it in this.
They didn't do it in Tron.
Not that well.
They tried. It was like,
They tried.
They tried.
Was still baby.
It was
At least
very
you
early.
tried.
It was very early. I mean, Brad Pitt, Benjamin Button, they got an Oscar nomination for that. They could do the same thing here. But to kind of elaborate as well on Sabina's point, I think when we get to see these things about the heroic characters that we've idolized since the original trilogy, I don't think it vilifies them. I don't think it makes us, hate them or anything. I think it adds layers, if anything, to their characters and to who they are. Because what we get and what we see and how we get endeared to Luke Skywalker since 1977 all the way to 1983 when the original trilogy came out, all we really see is the heroic side, the good side, the stalwart and true Jedi Knight that is going to save the galaxy. I love Last Jedi for the fact that we don't see that same Luke at all, which makes sense because 60 years of things happening will obviously leave someone jaded, being the only real Jedi left, since Ahsoka's technically not a Jedi. Although we don't know about like Cal Kitsis or Ezra or anyone else like that, because they could be still around still. But getting to see where he goes from there to there, we need to add that complexity. And we need to disagree with him every once in a while, because he still is a hero. It doesn't make him any less of a hero, but it makes him a human. And I think that makes the character even more compelling, So yeah, I love that they're doing that in this.
I can't add any more to that.
Same.
Cosign.
All right, guys.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
my
This has been
god.
signed and approved by the rest of the panel.
But yeah, to close out, y'all, like, any thoughts leading up to what we think is going to happen next week and what we're hoping to see? We'll go around. Stephanie.
Oh gosh. I honestly, as much as I would love to think of the idea that they would have like this great epic war, I think they're gonna hold off on it because they're already re-establishing the Mandalorian into the Book of Boba Fett for the upcoming Mandalorian series or season. So I'm figuring like they might build up and pull a Dragon Ball Z on all of us,
Or Empire us.
or Empire. Yeah, like I think they're gonna go that direction, and we're not gonna see that great epic war until like maybe Mandalorian.
That's a good prediction.
Yeah.
Michael Lee.
That would be pretty ballsy for them to just end it. Do we know if this is a limited series or if this is going to be there's going to be another season of this, like in the same way that we knew that Mandalorian was going to be season 2 and 3?
I don't know. Those are some really good questions to ask at D23 Expo. Be like, yo, what are we doing here? Have we decided on what our format is?
Yeah, exactly. But I would have to agree with Stephanie. There's no way they can build up all of this and just finish it off in one 40 minutes because most of them have been 40-minute episodes. So yeah,
Have they announced the runtime for the next episode? What if it's really long?
It might be.
Ooh, it might be. It might be just a whole movie.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a movie long.
Starting at midnight.
It's starting at midnight. Oh, terrible. Question for you guys, actually. So we know, here are the facts. We know that Kathleen Kennedy teased that all of these things are going to converge into one mega crossover event. We technically don't have an answer to who's behind the Pikes. Wouldn't it be very interesting if it was Thrawn behind the Pikes? And then that ends up unifying Ahsoka as well as Boba, and all of these guys end up converging into that crossover event. So we don't get a conclusion and an all-out war in next episode, but we get a resolution to all of this when we converge everyone's big bads and big issues into that mega crossover event. That I'm now kind of wondering about.
I mean, there are so many Star Wars shows coming out this year alone, so I can only imagine that's what they're doing.
Yeah. At least with the Mandoverse, you know, if we want to coin that phrase. But yeah. But I don't know. I mean, like, if the Pikes aren't big enough for us as villains, and Thrawn is kind of a big bad, it would give incentive for every one of these series to kind of interconnect. He's the Thanos of the Mandoverse, you know?
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
We just will have to wait and see next week.
We will have to wait and see. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Da da da.
Oh man.
To be continued.
I'm worried about who's actually gonna die because I don't think everyone's gonna go unscathed. Although that'd be really cool because I did bring up in one of our last episodes that they should be like the Fast and Furious family and just have this incredible plot armor as people of color in this universe where it's like we won't die, but we will do some crazy stuff and find out that we are being betrayed by our loved ones who we later convert to be on our side. Like that's my hopes and dreams for this, you know.
And then in
Force family.
And then in the crossover event, the moped kids are going to be like, isn't it weird that we go through all these things and we don't die? You know, like Tyrese did Fast 9.
Yeah.
I was like, there's got to be a moment where Luke Skywalker sees Boba Fett. Oh no. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We're
How's
on.
that gonna work?
That could
It's
happen.
like, hey, wait.
It's like, hey, I thought you were dead. How's it going?
Like I didn't do.
Right? Hey, I thought you were dead. Hey, I thought you were dead.
Remember, Han knocked you in that Sarlacc pit. It wasn't me.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
I didn't do it.
If Han shows up, who are they gonna have play him? Are they gonna bring what's his name from Solo, or is it gonna be like a crazy deep fake of Harrison? See, that's what I'm kind of like. I feel like it should have been because if you're gonna have these heroes come back and do some like middle adventures, like I don't know if you can have all the big three be deep faked. I don't know. That's just
That would be.
Yeah.
No, I'm just envisioning this encounter similar to Pulp Fiction, where like Bruce Willis is driving in the car, and then like Ving Rhames says the donuts across the street, but it's Luke and it's Boba, and like Boba goes like Boba, and then like Luke just guns it and hits them with the car.
He throws his Boba tea.
Yeah, he throws the Boba tea, and then Luke hits him with the car, and then everything just goes downhill from there. No, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, this just needs to have a really nice resolution where at the end they just decide to like, you know, have Tatooine be given back to its people, and they like develop their cultures, and they just have a massive party, and they make a Tatooine night market where there's boba tea and different foods, like, and they're just like sharing foods and having a really good time.
That sounds lovely. I want to go to that party.
Me too.
Now I'm hungry again.
Now I'm hungry again.
Yes. And with that, we will end this week's episode so we can go get snacking on some chicken nuggies in honor of Grogu. who we hope to see again next week. We'll just go around real quick. Everyone, let the people know where they can find you and what you're up to these days. We'll start with Mike M.
All right, you guys can find me at TidyBoyBoy182 on Instagram and Twitter, and also on the nerdsofcolor.org. So all of our articles are on our Nerds of Color Twitter and site. So, yeah.
Michael Lee.
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at I am Michael J. Lee. And I write for That's It LA, We Live Entertainment, Nerds of Color, and yeah.
Yes, be sure to follow him on Instagram to see amazing, cute pictures of his dog and awesome foods as well.
Yes.
And then Stephanie.
You can find me at Stephanie Sandmeier. It's complicated. Just follow me here on the Nom Talk Network at Nom Talk Network, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Discord. I'm running out.
We are everywhere. And we have, I know there's a lot of content coming out as well. I know the new show that was announced. The more about those things on Nom Talk. I'm on Nom Talk. You can find me here weekly talking about these shows. Book of Boba Fett. Hopefully soon you'll catch us on that Moon Knight train to Oscar Isaac. But yeah, you can find me here as well as Nerds of Color. I'm really bad at words and names right now. And I'm on Twitter at Sabina has no R, at That Lady Graves on Instagram. All the places that I write for pop up on my feed. It's usually a lot of places to name, but it might become just one place at some point in the future. So signing off, and we'll see you next week. May the force be with Baby Grogu. And you.
Make good choices, Baby Grogu.
Make good choices, Baby Grogu.